Right. Topic number 3 of 60. What are we talking about? Men and somewhat pseudo masculine ass women, who I love as well, because it's only a matter of it's only a matter of necessity for a time, right? What are we talking about today? We're talking about your real beloved. What is your real beloved? And I want to speak this to the men, since we're going to have a men's group tonight, and some of you guys live afar and you won't be able to make it. Rico, ¿qué tal? How are you doing, brother? Your real beloved, men, fellas, is your purpose. Your purpose is, but really, what is your most high aligned purpose for you? Okay? Because that purpose contains the divine feminine within it. And so, an example that I could give in terms of your purpose being your highest beloved is that your purpose will have space. It will create space for you to really be the man that you've decided to be, that you're called to be. Men, for the women in your life as well. And you won't be blaming her for certain things. You won't look to her for things that aren't really her kuleana anyways. She'll be there to support you. She'll have her purpose and her goals. Your goals will support her goals and your goals. My beloved is my devotion to the greater divine feminine. By accessing that, recognizing that, then I know when she's helping me. You ever been with a woman, brothers, and you're making love and you wish you could just crawl all the way up inside her, right? And just disappear. Okay? Have you had that experience though? No, it's impossible. Why? Because you were born. You came out, but you can't go back in the same way. Now for me, I had the experience of loving the ocean, surfing, and I have put all of what I am into that ocean. All of my strength. I've given my life at times in wanting to commit suicide. I've thrown myself way out there. And the ocean was like, I got you, baby. No, it's not that time. Get your ass back to shore and get to work. And I thought, wow. And I've had experiences where I felt talked to, spoken to by that greater divine feminine and got to understand the power of the divine feminine, but also the power that I have within myself to navigate with that energy, to honor it, and to navigate in my masculine energy. So, holding space for that experience, I ask you, brothers, and it's okay if you don't know the answer right now, what is your highest purpose? What is, and I work with brothers right in the men's groups, as well as when I do the blueprint little sessions and for the 8-week programs, and I'm not trying to sell that right now because I'm booked up, but I'm saying this is what I do. I ask them, and I help them to figure out, what is your golden thread? I even probably have this on Instagram when I really discovered what my golden thread was and could articulate it and put words on it. Everything shifted for me. Of course, my golden thread is intimacy. As part of intimacy, I have to look at relationship and relate it from a broad perspective. And then I'm here to cultivate that thing that you hear me talk about. Harmony. What is harmony? What brings harmony in your life? What are the different things that you've been navigating that make you butt heads? So when I speak to your highest purpose, you may have purposes, but one is going to be, we're in this dimension, so there's going to be one thing really that calls to you, that calls to your heart and your soul. No, it cannot be your woman. She can be a thing that's part of it, but not that thing, because people change. We want our women to stay the same, and they continuously change, right? They want our men to change, men just trying to stay the same. It was really funny. Those are wants and desires, but in truth, we all change. And so if your purpose is your highest calling, and also you honor it as a true beloved, that's going to give you a lot of clarity as you move forward. And women love clarity. And guess what? Men do too. I'm here in Tulum, and what is it for those of you who live in Tulum that, when women and even some of the men are speaking to, they speak to flakiness. Not everyone can complete everything, so I'm reasonable. But really what they're speaking to is a scatterbrainedness. And you can tell when you get in a conversation with people. You might even be able to see levels of scatterbrained with me when you watch the lives, and I'm like, hey, but then I chat off into a tangent. But there's moments when I'm very clear. My purpose is to raise the waters of community, to support, to create spaces for men from ages out the womb, but really ages, 12, young men, to navigate through their rites of passages, to come into a space of clarity, and to be able to walk in that clarity and navigate through the confusion that is being imposed upon us, through the addictions that we're being, ushered into, and also through the division, right? Because we can recognize with our mouths, we can say this here and here, and hear, oh man, we're one. But to really, decide to live a lived experience of the unity that we are, that's a lifetime marathon. And so some of us get into it and we're like, man, I didn't sign up for this. Bullshit. You signed up for it because you're here. That is part of the sacred contract that we have with life, that we have with the greater divine feminine and greater divine masculine that exists. So for all of us who are navigating in life, and just think back to it, if you come into a place where you recognize, wow, my purpose, women, your purpose can be, the greater divine masculine, and your dedication to that can be your purpose. And then you honor that purpose with the man that you're with the person that you're with. You can honor those attributes. So when I speak to the men and I say, your purpose is your beloved, well, that does a different thing in the life of a man. All right? When the man recognizes, oh, my beloved is the greater divine feminine. She shows herself in the environment, in the women that are around me, in how the young men get to receive things, in the journey of nurturing as a man who can be a husband who is a steward of land, and a husband which would be a doula. It totally opens up things, in which case then intimacy is important. Being able to articulate yourself emotionally is important. Being able to regulate your nervous system is important. Being able to recognize the triggers is important. Being able to identify the distractions that come. Being able to stand strong in your mission and your vision while being compassionate, while recognizing it ain't all about you, and actually devoting yourself to something bigger than you, because that's what you're called to do in life. Man, it's a game changer. The energy that you will walk with is something different. And also, it doesn't have to be so emotional. You could be stoic if you want to, but know deep down that you're tied to, you're connected to, and you're clear on your purpose. So many of the men that I'm around are not. It's okay. I've been there too, and there's ways that I'm going to continue to grow. So it's a lifetime thing. Are you in it for the long haul? You don't get a fucking choice. Because when it's over for you. So you can not pay attention to it and do anything, but you're here for as long as you're here. How do we take the time and invest the time and the energy and the love that we're being given and the support? How do we rapidly reframe our thoughts and our perspective? Because our perspectives on the world are being manipulated in many cases. Yes, there is war, there's famine, there are unfortunate things that happen to the bodies of young boys and women and grown men and women. There are prison industrial complexes that are businesses that continue to propagate the slave system with men and women, and maybe it was just black people, now it's all people in a certain class. We don't understand who we are, where we come from, our connections to each other for the most part, and then also how do we get over all of the wedge issues that are used to divide us, not only in America, but globally, right? All of the isms that are based on the prisms that mess with our ability to be the love that we are. So I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but I told you guys I had 60 topics. And they're important. I'm going to present them my unique way. No fluff. Maybe a little fluff, whatever, but not too much. And then I want to open up the door for anyone who's on the live to also share, to jump on with me and share what comes alive for them. Because it's not just my perspective. I'm sharing these as a catalyst, and I am on a time frame, So I want to put these things out for you guys to be able to go back to, as long as an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, doesn't hit the mainframe system, or I don't get knocked off, but you can't say that I didn't do it. I'm speaking to what's going on. How, for those of you who have an artistic talent, those of you who have cultivated a skill, have you recognized what the cultivation of that skill has done for your life? What doors it has opened up? Many times we have a skill that comes natural to us, or we've cultivated it, and then we reject it. We don't recognize it as our beloved. Hip-hop is a beloved. We heard how Common spoke to it. Erykah Badu, love of my life. But we understand. And when we were listening to the music, yo, Stacy, I remember at the retreat when you guys busted out the SWV, I melted. I died, I came back to life. Why? Because I love that music. But also what I feel is the divine feminine coming and speaking through that harmony and that unity. And through an art form that is really special and important to me, and that's carried me through hard times. So men, your purpose as your beloved. If your purpose is to protect and serve, do it in alignment with who you are. If your purpose is to clean, to limpia, right? That's also a way that you serve. So a lot of our purposes have to do in some way with service. If your protective is, if your objective and your thing is to do wrong, what we may notice is, humor me, okay? A lot of the folks who are perpetrating what we would consider the most unjust actions in life, they're super focused. Nothing gets in their way. And they honor, believe it or not, they honor the dirt that they're called to do, and they do that dirt to perfection. And hence we fall into systems and we're all over the place. So then, in terms of speaking to balance and justice, it would only be right for those of us who really wish to do beautiful, good, aligned things, who want to be in service, to cultivate that aspect of ourselves where we recognize that our most high beloved would be our purpose, because this is why we incarnated. We came in to do something, to cultivate certain gifts, to be certain things. And if we feel like society's imbalanced, then we take responsibility to bring things into balance. And the first place that we can start to bring the things into balance is within ourselves. There's much help to be able to do that in the process. So when I say to the men, when I talk to the brothers tonight, and I say, okay, what's your purpose? Oh, that's your beloved. Then the next thing I would say, your real beloved. Well, okay, how does everything fall under that purpose? Because if it's your real beloved, then you want to honor her. You want to be in devotion to her. You want to have communication. You want to look at what you're doing and saying, is this aligned with the dream that I have and the intention that I have to cultivate myself and the relationship that you have with your beloved that is your purpose? Now, when you do that from a high level, guess what happens, since everything is connected? You're going to look at the women, brothers, in your life in a different way. Why? Because you don't want to honor the greater beloved who has precipitated herself, who has shrunk herself down in the form of a woman, a partner. I'm being heteronormative here because I'm hetero, but you can extrapolate that however you wish. The people that are around you, how do you honor them? And also the people who you feel dishonor you, how do you look at that and gain understanding, compassion, and also honor your boundaries? I, as Riyah, I love people. I love even the people who have committed the most ugly injustices because they're interesting. They're also people, and because I've had experiences where I can really see myself in them, and I have to ask myself, okay, how am I mistreating myself? On the flip side, I am more than happy to back someone the fuck up. Why? Because I want to honor my boundaries. I want to give myself, in this frame, the time and the space to be able to love this experience, to move through the things that are going on inside of me, and to cultivate the most beautiful experience of union with my truest beloved and all the beloved that falls under that umbrella. And so the truest beloved would be my purpose. My purpose right now is, yes, you might see me doing a lot of things. How many times have I said this? I do a lot of things, but I'm really only doing one thing. I'm focused on intimacy. Intimacy means looking at that thing, the unity and community, and then cultivating it first from the inside out. I want to get to know myself so that I can express myself. I want to open up the channel so that, divine, not just divine wisdom, not pompous wisdom, not, egoic, though the ego's there. I want to love all of what it is so that I can shine my full spectrum into the realm and allow it to do what it's called to do. That's really important to me. I guarantee you guys are going to start hearing more people talk about full spectrum and fulfillment and alignment. You've been hearing that for a long time. I'm going to experience that in this life. I'm experiencing infinitely more measures of it just within the last year than I have probably in my whole journey. And I've had tastes of all this fulfillment and alignment and full spectrum me, little bits. And all of it has to do with me honoring my beloved. The beloved that is my frame, because that feminine exists within me, and the beloved that is without. And so the purpose then, for me, in the honoring of that beloved is to say, okay, I'm in dedication to the greater divine feminine, and she births. She goes through processes of gestation. She needs help sometimes, and also she helps. So how do I cultivate the relationship with her? Also, these men are her sons, her boys. Some of them have grown up and reached ages of even 60, 70, and yet have not had the opportunity through rites of passage, through understanding, through being witnessed, to navigate and heal issues of emotional molestation, which we'll talk about in another thing, ambiguous loss, grief, trauma, the ability to come into a space of clarity where they haven't given up so much emotional, physical, spiritual, energetic landscape. Many of us are extremely empathetic, but we're more the pathetic and empathetic. Why? Because our sympathetic is being attacked, and we're coming into contact with an increasingly narcissistic expression of society and human. There are the narcissists, covert, and overt. And then, so that's a whole process, because once you navigate that, then you go through many people go through a whole journey, a whole slew of emotions, and can get caught up in the cycle of just figuring out what happened to them to come out of confusion. And a lot of times that can leave you in confusion. Then there's also, all the other different pronounced personality types. And really, in the end, all of these are still an expression of us. So if we're able to pull our minds and reframe up above all of these different little types and say, okay, I own all of it. How does all of it exist within me? And then come to a conclusion. How am I going to deal with the different versions of me? That's coming from a place of power. Right now I'm in a space of, I'll handle things. I may react to some things, but I always go back to, I have a system to keep myself accountable to going back to thinking about, what have I done to cause this and create this? Is that how I want to be with these people? I feel a certain way, but before this thing happened, is that really how I felt? I can call that an anchor, all right? And then if it's not, and there's, reasons why I feel like, no, I don't have to feel like this with the person, then I let that dictate my actions moving forward so that I don't react, so that I'm not extremely violent. But if I need to be, I also own it. That's really for me, owning my shadow, is I know how I am in the worst case, I know how I am in the best case. I choose to employ as many best case scenarios. Anastasia, what's up, sister? Hope you're catching some of this. And I'm open to anyone that's on now, waving if you want to come on live, because I'm just sharing this, and I'd love to know how one of the women feel about me saying this. I'm telling the men, and also you women, but really expressing, hey, for a man at this point in life, especially 42, but really from a young age, I'm teaching these young men that, and I'm reminding them that your beloved, your first beloved, is going to be your purpose. Identify what you've been called here to do. If it's just to be, then you do that all the way. If your purpose is to build, then you build. And then you can align many aspects of your life to that purpose and to your principles, which are based on completing, identifying the purpose. And the people that you choose to be with, if their values are similar to you. If the values aren't, you can have a healthy respect for them, right? And you know where you guys will fit in together, so it doesn't have to be conflict all the time. And you can create more ease of flow and a more loving, harmonious experience. But it all boils down to knowing what's your purpose, treating it like your beloved, and then you can treat everything that boils down from that purpose as the children of that beloved, including the physical manifestation of the divine, for me, feminine, that shows up in the body of a woman. Because I know the attributes of the greater beloved and how she treats me, then as I'm gauging partners, as I'm gauging what I want to choose to do and who I want to be with, I'm looking at those attributes. I'm not a fool, for the most part, so I know that we're all in a process. But I can strive to and hold the vision and hold myself to a standard of trying to continue to improve and to give thanks for the areas that I've been able to make improvement as I approach the greater divine feminine in my day-to-day, over the long haul, and that allows me to be in a devotion and a dedication. Ooh, that burns. It burns in a good way, right? So it gives me fire to navigate the day and to not also fall into, as much as possible, the constant distractions and bullshit that so many people may throw your way as a basis of the dynamics that are alive within them, not even so much with the malice intent, although some people do have a malice intent, and I try not to lie to myself and check them right off the gate. First syllable of jump is ch, and that's where I'm talking to them at that, and taking time and still wanting to have compassion in the process. Why? Because people are really sensitive. A lot of what goes on is from hurt and sensitivity. So Anastasia, I see the hand waving. Mike, Barbara, what's good? I want to know, does anyone want to jump on the slide and share what they're feeling from what I've shared? Share any introspect, any wisdom, aligned with this topic? Here's the opportunity. I'll pause. Or if you just want to jump on and say what's up, it's cool. And I won't take it any kind of way if you feel, a bit shy or you don't feel to be seen right now. But know that for each of these days, I'm going to do one every day. Can't really pick a specific time for every day because I have my days stagger, but they're stacked. But I can hold to it. Butterfly and hummingbird outside. It's a good sign. All right, Mike. All right, Anastasia. Captain Crunchin, Wussin, Soy, Maria Magic. Yes, you are. Nakshmi, Chris, good to see you. The Shark, Heck yeah. Chloe, Aloha, Stacy, thank you. Fungus, Dot, Among Us, Karina, my dear sister, Rico, who's epically suave. ¿Qué tal, hermano? Muchísimas gracias and mucho aloha for having showed up, for jumping on. I think I'll close this live right now and I'll dive right into my next thing. And wow, look, Ezrael's getting a little bit more succinct, short, and potent. Feels good. Thank you. Closing statement. All right. What we spoke to so far. I'm talking like I'm in St. Louis again. Grenade. I love St. Louis people. Some of them. Honor your exes. Okay. How do we honor our exes? That was topic number 1. I can't, and once I get to 40, I'm not going to run through all of them. Topic number 2 that we spoke to 2 days ago, so you can almost backtrack if this appeals to you, the rapid reframe. And I'm also going to now, as I proceed, we can show how these things dovetail together, right? Honoring your exes. I'm still honoring the greater divine feminine by being true to myself, choosing not to waste the time of any women who I'm not wanting to build up. So that means I have to really be really honest with myself beyond my carnal desires to just pounce and to take, but it's really, I'm here to give. And maybe I don't have all the funds that someone would want to get from me and get me simping. That's fine. You know, I do love to treat and do well. But if it's not aligned and I'm not in that space, it's not going to happen. Right? So that is a way of honoring me and my cup. The next one is the rapid reframe. The next one that I spoke to was me coming into a situation where I was dealing with the police here in town, Tulum, Mexico, US, it's the same thing everywhere. People have quotas to make. They have jobs. We have rules that are set up. Some of them are really asinine, but they're used to treat people as low-hanging fruit because some of them may be impossible to truly keep. So for those who aren't paying attention, who may be not with their eyes on the prize and navigating in life, you get caught up in these little snares. That's spoken to in Proverbs. Well, these snares are meant to snare you. And a snare or a hook, if you're fishing, will have bait on it. So the bait may be going to a certain place but not knowing the rules of that place. The bait may be to want to be out at a certain time of night, or they have traps out at nighttime to catch you. To not go too far on that, the rapid reframe is when these things happen, when you get into a situation that you feel is adverse, the best thing to do is stop and pause. If you're able to, and look at what you can do in that moment. It takes practice. You know, when you're when you feel like your rights are being violated by the people who are supposed to protect you, a lot of things come up. It's meant to be that way. If you feel in terms of how the system is set up, right? Things are meant to throw you off balance and then knock you down when you're off balance. So the best thing that you can do is regain your balance. And the rapid reframe of perspective is the best thing that you can learn to cultivate. Some people do tapping, right? To really bring themselves back into a centered space, which I love. I love to see people doing that. I may make a joke here and there, but I really, have respect for anyone who will take the time and regulate themselves no matter what it looks like, because once you're regulated, the regulators can mount up. You're good to go. Some people will visibly breathe, ground themselves, maybe you rub your hands together and you put your hand on your heart, check your pulse. You fill in the blank, okay? Rapid reframes help you to gain balance and perspective, more positivity, and to receive from the vortex that is created in the universe. And today's was, again, your purpose as your real beloved. And I want the men to even, you catch this late, just think about it. Women too. Share your thoughts. If you don't share your thoughts, it's out there. You can always come back. And you can also share them to me privately. Your purpose as your real beloved. Okay? Why? You have your purpose. You came in with it, right? There's your sacred union. Now how do you honor it? The closer you move and the more powerfully you move in your purpose, the more you align the decisions you make in this life to honor, to cultivate your character, to be able to be the fulfillment of that purpose. I guarantee you, the happier you'll be. I've got proof. Ain't just me, okay? All right, tomorrow, I think we're going to speak to, there's 3 things that I'd like to talk to, so you tune in. And the topic headings are to be true, in terms of taking off the layers. Another one is our community pimping and our community hoeing. I don't care if you like the way I'm speaking to about this, but I do a little bit. I'm going to be coming from a higher vibrational space, but the higher vibration contains the lower aspects, so remember that, okay? Thank you guys. Talk to you soon. Aloha. And for the men in town in Tulum, tonight we're going to meet at Radio Tulum, all right? And expect that we'll have a workshop, a surf workshop, not this Saturday, but next Saturday with the surf club, my peoples out there. And Friday, we have an opportunity to connect and to support some of our young men, young people in a play. So we won't be meeting at Radio Tulum because we're not going to have the Freestyle Fridays. What we will do, I'm going to go to a play and just enjoy and support one of my friend's sons. And then he's also going to be one of our first young mentors to come in, because we're going to do not only the surf thing and invite him, some of these younger guys, to our gathering on Saturday, the Warrior Workout, but I'm also going to get started with some mechanics things. Some of the typical regular things that it'd be nice for a man to know in the cars still use oil, synthetic or not. They still have parts that may need to be maintenanced. Same with your motorbikes and other things. So it's good for men nowadays to have mechanical skills, to have an idea of how to use their hands physically to create, to fix things. It gives you a different air of confidence, and it also helps you to start to understand the world around you from a different space. So here's the opportunity. I was looking in my window. I'm looking right back at you, player. Privacy. Love you guys. From the jungle. From my heart. Aloha.